Good to have you back. Brechin at home to Hamilton and Ross County Clyde still to come today, but first the newly promoted Stranraer, who played host to AIRDRIE United. Here's David.
Stranraer were out to prove there'll be no mugs this season, and certainly Neil Watt has brought in plenty of experience. Michael Moore, of course, has returned from St Johnstone, but his bustling style of play soon had him on a collision course with referee Chris Boyle. The collision inside the area with Neil McGowan was seen by the ref as an attempt to win a penalty. All he got for his efforts was a yellow card. Without Owen Coyle, Marvin Wilson and Alan Gow, AIRDRIE will find life harder this season, and you can't help but feel they won't be the only ones to have a difficult afternoon at Stair Park. When David Hamilton blasted Stranraer ahead, the Diamonds were up against it. Hamilton arrived in the summer from Hamilton and proved an instant success. And now to the controversy. Sandy Stewart wants a look at the evidence before deciding if action will be taken against Brian McPhee. Well, he looked to be leading with his elbow as he went for the high ball, enough to convince the referee to show a red card. AIRDRIE, as you might imagine, not happy with the decision, and Stranraer about to get angry with Mr Boyle. Moore is clearly impeded. The referee thought he made the most of it and produced a second yellow and then a red. Moore appeared to be fouled all right, and he picked up another red card after the game. A lively start at Stranraer.
Gus McPherson's buddies were looking for their first win of the new campaign after losing out to Dundee last weekend. Stuart Keane just off the mark for an early opener. The Saints hitman scored 8 last season but opted to set up Kirk Broadfoot instead of have a go himself, the big defender missing the target. McPherson no doubt pointing out the way to goal. It was to be a frustrating afternoon for the home side, and not even a slip from Stranraer keeper Barry John Corr was enough to help them make the breakthrough, the keeper eventually mopping up from Keane. This wasn't all about the buddies though. Stranraer set out their stall all right, but could have given their hosts the fright of their lives had Walker just managed to turn this one home. The Stair Park striker kicking himself for passing up that chance, and no doubt Keane must have been doing the same at the other end when he blazed this one over the bar. A head in the hands job there, and there wasn't enough time for it to get any better. Craig Hinchcliffe making sure, but Jenkins' long-range effort always going wide.
Controversy within the first 5 minutes at Stair Park as Clyde keeper Paul Jarvie handled the ball outside the area. But did he deny a goal-scoring opportunity for Lee Hines? Not according to referee Ian Frickleton, who showed a yellow card to the keeper. Perhaps the close attentions of the defender helped him make that decision. Hines again was proving troublesome to the Clyde defence. To their credit, they worked hard to close him down, although the flashing drive by Alan Jenkins almost got the better of Jarvie. Close as it come from the Stranraer man. Clyde, to their credit, are improving by the game as their new players get to know each other. Steve O'Donnell is already proving a key man for them, and he took the opening goal well. O'Donnell does so well to get over the ball and keep it low. Not much chance for Barry John Corr. The Stranraer keeper though was instrumental in creating a chance for his side. Paul Walker in the end inches away from the equaliser. Disappointment etched in the faces of supporters who have seen Stranraer start the season well, and they must have thought their side had done enough for a share of the points at least when Stephen Swift stole in to put them level. 15 minutes to go, Swift eluding his marker to steer the ball home and set up a dramatic finale. The drama started stage right as Jarvie kept out Jenkins. So close from Stranraer and yet so far as O'Donnell burst through to take centre stage, and then a bow as the game's principal lead. This was all about O'Donnell and the Late Late Show, giving Clyde full points.
You've seen them.
It's not been the best of weeks for County. Their players stung by criticism after their midweek cup exit at the hands of Ayr. Alex Burke perhaps providing the perfect response. Burke doubling his goals tally, and his strike no doubt a timely boost for County. The County players looked up for this one from the word go. Lionel Jebozadi unlucky not to give his side some breathing space with the aid of a bit of a deflection. It was one-way traffic for much of the first half, and County again had a chance to increase their advantage. David Winters, though, just wide of the mark. Burke already had one goal to his name and was looking for another, but Barry John Corr on his toes to keep him out. The striker has been linked with a move away from Dingwall, but showed he was back to something like his best against Stranraer, and when he teed up Stuart Taylor, there was only one place the ball was going to end up. Former St Johnstone man Taylor milking those celebrations for all they're worth, and who can blame him? The midfielder on hand to take the return for a fine strike to put County in control. It looked as though the home side would kill the game off when Burke was played through again, but again Corr proved to be more than a match. With so many missed chances, you always wonder when you'll be made to pay for them, and so it proved when David Hamilton headed Stranraer right back into the match. With 11 minutes still left to play, it was exactly what County didn't want. A simple finish from Hamilton, and that set up what proved to be a grandstand finish to the game. With the clock ticking down, it was left to that man Burke to try and kill it off, but this time just off target. Then a heart-in-the-mouth moment for County fans. Murray Henderson clear in stoppage time, but he couldn't keep County off the top of the table.
Well, still...
Two clubs for whom victory has been hard to come by this season, and both no doubt fancying their chances of something here. Stephen Docherty certainly fancied his chances, although the end result was disappointing for the home side. Neil Watt, of course, has seen it all. The Stranraer manager sets his stall out to make life difficult for others, but life has become difficult for him with Scott McLean no longer at the club and Michael Moore possibly missing in midweek after his disciplinary hearing. Sandy Stewart too will be missing a key player. Gary Twigg failed to recover from an awkward fall that saw him leave the field with an ankle injury, and he'll now miss a trip to Ross County. Sympathetic applause from the supporters, but just 3 goals in the last 4 games for AIRDRIE, something they were keen to rectify. Kevin Barkey and Brian Prunty between them carved out the chance for Prunty. And while he was looking for his first goal since September the 10th, Michael Moore has scored in Stranraer's last 2 games and remains their main threat. When Paul Walker set him up, he was close to making it 3 from 3. You don't have to be a lip reader to know what they were saying on the bench. Sandy not happy, but his side played some nice football, and when Brian McPhee flicked the ball on for Barkey, there was time and space down the right side. And when the cross came in, Prunty failed to trouble the keeper. Certainly he's been lively enough, and he was brought in to provide a goal threat for AIRDRIE. He has shown already this season he can find the net. Nothing complicated about the move that led to his next chance. The up and under was well controlled, head down and make tracks. Fortune, they say, favours the brave. It certainly favoured AIRDRIE here as a deflection left Barry John Corr with no chance. Just the kind of luck you need in a tight game. Nothing the keeper can do. AIRDRIE ahead. The visitors are known for their battling qualities, of course, and there was never a question that Stranraer would accept their fate. Michael Moore is all hustle and bustle. He's a physical player whose style often finds him in conflict with opponents and referees. But he showed good skill here, and although he didn't get a shot in, Lee Hines did enough to trouble Stephen Robertson. Hines has scored twice for Stranraer this season, and with his next involvement he almost helped to unpick the lock of the Airdrie defence. He did well to keep possession and then find the unmarked Alan Jenkins, who probably couldn't believe his luck. He certainly couldn't believe that he'd missed. Perhaps the best chance of the day for Stranraer, a late opportunity to get something out of the game, a game that was almost put beyond them by Brian McPhee. There was plenty of power in the final shot, if not direction. The one goal was enough for a welcome 3 points for Airdrie.
We didn't have many glaring opportunities, but I think we had probably about 70-75% of possession, and when teams funnel back and get behind the ball, it's very difficult to get in between them. And probably the only thing that let us down in the first half was our crossing, because I felt we made it too easy for the goalkeeper and we were crossing them for too far out. We tried to rectify that in the second half. We got a goal, and then all of a sudden we're 1-0 up, and Stranraer just put an extra cut of bodies up front, and we had to defend it at that stage.
Nearly the first league defeat in 5 league games. You must be disappointed.
Yeah, we've had a decent run. We've picked up some good points away from home. We knew this was going to be a hard place to come, but no complaints about the result. On the day, the better team won and deserved the 3 points. We've just got to pick ourselves up now and try and get some points from midweek.
Only your second away defeat this season. Your away form's obviously been very impressive.
Yes, I don't think our home form's been too bad. I mean, that's another game. There's only been one goal in it. That's 10 games this season. There's been one goal in every one, other than the draws. So they're always going to be tight. Home form. Yeah, we're happy enough with it, and we're picking up points on the road.
Good night for the Perth side. David Van Zanten had already given St Mirren a first half lead at Stair Park. The league leaders knew it wouldn't be an easy night, so when Lee Hines provided the equaliser, Gus McPherson's men had to dig deep. Stranraer, of course, had drawn at Love Street, and it looked like a share again until deep into injury time. This the kind of result you need if you want to win titles. Stuart Keane turning 1 point into 3. And Keane's face shows just how much it meant for St Mirren.
Stranraer have won just once at home this season, and County, with Gardner Spears at the helm, were looking to exploit any weaknesses in the Stair Park defence. Lionel Jebel-Zadi's effort not enough to trouble Barry John Carr. On paper this shouldn't have been much of a contest, County involved at the right end of the table and looking to challenge for honours. Stranraer at the wrong end with just 10 points from their opening 13 games. County seemed to want to stick to that script, Alex Burke's back heel setting up Mark McCulloch, but just not getting enough on it to beat Carr. The former Motherwell keeper's net still intact then, and there was more hard work to come when he was called into action again. A nice touch from Don Cowie, leaving Stranraer all at sea. No one there to pick up apart from John Rankin, and he made room for the shot, but still no joy. Rankin unable to find the breakthrough County needed if they wanted to keep up the pressure on the two Saints at the top, but they weren't to be denied for much longer. The ball in, a good one, Cowie ignoring claims for offside to put County into the driving seat. Unfortunately for Cowie though, not many saw his strike, only 483 turned out for this one. A 500-mile round trip may be the deciding factor. The handful that were there, some who came via Belfast, delighted to finally get the breakthrough. County won up and you expected them to go on and add to their tally. However, they say it ain't over till the fat lady sings, or in this case it ain't over until the half-time whistle. The visitors' lead lasting just 10 minutes, an assured finish from David Hamilton, sending the ball into the top corner and leaving Stuart Garden with little chance. With just a minute to go until the break, it looked like the sides would go in level, but the County fans didn't reckon on this happening. No point in arguing that one, a message that Ian Brines seemed to be trying to get across, and it was down to Hamilton again to step up and fire Stranraer in front from the spot. Garden guessing the right way, but not enough to stop Hamilton from claiming his double. Any hopes Neil Watt's side had of pulling off a shock though were extinguished after the restart. Cabby proving that anything Hamilton can do, he can do better. The County man claiming his second of the day, and a vital one it was too, back on level terms after what would no doubt have been a few harsh words from Gardner Spears in that dressing room at half-time. The standing county gaffer in a better mood now, and he'd have been even happier if Rankin's cross had been touched in by Stephen McGarry. County just inches away from a third, and you got the feeling that more chances would come their way. So it proved sub McGarry was involved again in the one that this time paid off. It might not win goal of the month, but that won't bother Rankin. A second bite at the cherry and County back in front for the second time. And that trip home just a bit sweeter for County fans, with 3 points in the bag.
I thought we passed the ball well for most of the game. Maybe took too many passes to get it forward at times. The pitch was heavy, so that stopped us rolling about at the pace that they're capable of doing.
The problem we've got just now is that we're competing very well, you know, but unfortunately we've come up a wee bit short today. Be it bad luck, whatever, you know, but we're certainly coming up a wee bit short at times.
Well, stay with us this Sunday with David.
Under new management and hoping to impress the new boss, Queens set out to attack, looking livelier than they have done in recent weeks. Paul Byrne's celebrations were stifled by an offside flag. The young midfielder denied an early opener, but under the watchful gaze of Ian McCall, those in blue were playing for their futures at the club. John O'Neill will still be wondering how he didn't score here. Three attempts by O'Neill and a grateful and relieved Barry John Corr holding on to the ball. But if O'Neill was unlucky with his attempts at goal, Stranraer went one better. Dean Shields with a first for them, Alan Jenkins with number 2 and 3 before getting past the Queen's defence. A case of try and try again from the Stranraer captain. Perseverance gaining its reward. Ian McCall said afterwards he saw positives in the game for his side before he takes over properly this week. One of them would have been the move that led to the equaliser. Neatly worked and neatly taken by O'Neill. If O'Neill was hoping to impress his new manager, he was going the right way about it. The dummy from Burns was important. The finish was clinical. Stuart Lovell, of course, was in the dugout yesterday, and from there he would have had a good view of O'Neill's next effort. Things beginning to look up for Queens. Well, they had a lot of the play in a game they were desperate to win. O'Neill underlining their determination to win 3 points. Steve Bowie just as committed. And perhaps they should have taken the points. Certainly David McNiven can consider himself unlucky he didn't give his side the lead. This was a cracking effort from McNiven, cracking off the bar with Burns unable to finish it off. Stranraer work hard at making themselves hard to beat, so goodness knows what Neil Watt would have thought about the defending that allowed Paul Burns so much time to pick out Bowie, with O'Neill looking for his second goal. Given their respective league positions, both sides knew just how important a win would be, and when Colin Scott was penalised for handling outside his area, he was to receive a yellow card, while Stranraer received a free kick. The home fans relieved the card wasn't red. From the set piece, Alan Jenkins found the net, but his comments unbroadcastable as he found the flag up for offside. With Stranraer now pushing forward, looking for the goal that had proved so elusive for the home side, Colin Scott had to be careful with a cross shot from Colin Marshall. Now, we've seen some good goals on Scott Sport First this season. We've seen some good play and some smashing moves. This from Stranraer is up there with the best of them, with play flowing from one penalty area to the other. All it needed was a finish, and goal of the month was surely in the bag. Jenkins once more in at the sharp end for Stranraer. With Ian McCall bringing fresh ideas to Queens, the battle to avoid the drop and the playoff position should be interesting in the coming months.
fair to say we're a little bit disappointed with the result, but for once I can say that we're thoroughly satisfied with the performance, other than a sloppy goal that we conceded, which was definitely avoidable. Thought we scored a terrific goal and had a lot of the game. Felt like we were the team that was going to try and win the game.
I think any point away from home, to be honest, is a good point for us. You know, when you're at the bottom end of the league, you try and get points away from home. We would have liked 3, but I think at the end of it, a point was fair to both teams.
Oh, Tony on the
Had gone in. Neil Watt's side have only scored 4 goals in their last 5 games, and while they managed to create in the early stages, they just couldn't finish them off. The referee playing advantage, but David Hamilton coming up against Craig Nelson in fine form. But while the veteran keeper impressed with that save, some of their defending leaves a lot to be desired, something Campbell will no doubt be hoping to resolve over the coming weeks. Stranraer had gone 8 games without a shutout before this match. You can make that 9. Jerry Britton giving BRECHIN something to cheer at last. It was the veteran striker's 3rd of the season, and something City could do with more of. They managed to hold on to that lead until the break, but Stranraer, who'd scored just 4 in the previous 5 games, will be kicking themselves for not making the most of the chances that were handed to them on a plate. City somehow managing to clear the danger. The Glebe Park men lost out to St Mirren in midweek, but had managed to give them a bit of a run for their money late on, and having won 3 of their last 5 at Stair Park, were determined to hold out for another one to add to their list. The ball though was a bit like a hot potato, and when Stranraer picked up in the middle of the park, the signs looked ominous, but Ali Mitchell for one wasn't going to give it up that easily. The visitors could have made life easier for themselves when Britton set up Kevin Byers, but he couldn't add to the 5 he's already scored this season. Frustration there for the City man, and there was more of the same to come for him later. He again combined well with Britton, the ball this time falling to Grant Johnston, with a fingertip just enough to keep him at bay. They'd had a couple of chances to seal the win, but had little joy, and something looked to be on for Stranraer sub Paul Walker when he showed a clever slide of foot at the other end, but again Nelson was equal to him. The warning signals no doubt flashing for Campbell, and well they might, because if it hadn't been for the acrobatics of Nelson yet again, Stranraer would have been back on level terms. Not the best of defending, but the keeper doing well to keep out Lee Hines. The law of averages would suggest that one of their chances had to win sooner or later. Their fans certainly believed it, and Hamilton wasn't going to disappoint them. The goal a real sickener for BRECHIN, but you couldn't grudge Stranraer their goal, who'd worked hard for their equaliser, Hamilton getting that vital touch. With a huge dent in their confidence after losing that goal, Stranraer pushed up to try and punish BRECHIN even more with a winning goal. They almost found it when that man Hamilton again flew in at the far post, but this time he could only fire over. The BRECHIN players flat out as they battled to hold on for at least a draw, and sometimes you've got to sacrifice yourself to save the club. Craig Nelson decided to do exactly that, his block from Hamilton earning his first red card in 17 years, but more importantly, earning BRECHIN a point into the bargain.
Well, 1 or 2 things to sort out, but I mean the attitude and the response from the players and the organisation today was great, considering that, you know, we've not been playing that well, but in the last couple of weeks, I can see it, so we've a lot to build on.
I mean, last year BRECHIN was the team that we had to beat. We were both in the 2nd division, and BRECHIN were the hardest team that we had to play against. And we've stepped up a level with BRECHIN, and now all of a sudden people think that, you know, we should be beating BRECHIN. So nothing's really changed from last year. It's still a very hard game, and yeah, I think the 2 of us will still be battling away come the run into the end of the season.
Well, St Mirren idle yesterday, so Ross County and Hamilton Accies both making inroads into at McDermott Park.
injuries forced Owen Coyle to hand himself a place in Saints' starting lineup for the first time since taking over as manager at McDiarmid Park, despite suffering the effects of 2 broken toes. But their first chance was left to Paul Sheeran. Barry John Corr, though, not likely to be beaten from that range. Saints were hoping to get back among the goals after last week's stalemate with Clyde and probably created enough chances in this match to win at least 2 games. However, even with their boss looking lively as ever in the front line, they couldn't find the early breakthrough. Stevie Milne's luck deserting him on that occasion, but the former Dundee striker wasn't to be put off for long, and he was back in the thick of Saints' next foray up the park. Ryan Stevenson pouncing on the loose ball, but still no way through despite the one-way traffic towards Corr's net. The big keeper trying to point his side in the right direction, and whatever he said, it must have hit the nail right on the head. It was their first shot at goal, but boy did they make it count. Former Saint Michael Moore involved in the build-up, Hamilton getting the final touch and given too much time to fire home. The Stranraer man's 6th goal of the season, and one that stunned Saints, who after all their first half possession were now the ones under pressure. They did have a chance to hit back after the break. Jason Scotland doing all of the hard work for them out on the left flank. Sheeran sending the ball in for him into the danger area, but young Stephen Anderson unable to find the finish to go with it. Frustration for the Saints man and for the supporters, who probably couldn't believe that their side were trailing in a match they had dominated. But Neil Watt's well-organised Stranraer, who were growing in confidence the longer the game went on, had the bit between their teeth, and they would have bitten your hand off for a second goal. It was Hamilton again who came so close to putting the match beyond the home side. From that moment on, though, the tide started to turn back in Saints' favour again, and Coyle's side lunged ball after ball into the box. Darren Sheridan was at the heart of most of their set pieces, but it was a ball in from Simon Mensing that set up Saints for their leveller. Relief all round McDiarmid Park, Sheeran trying to rally the troops, his goal a real shot in the arm for the Saints troops, who went on to throw everything but the kitchen sink at Stranraer in the closing stages. There were just 8 minutes left after that equaliser, enough time for Saints to carve out yet another chance. Milne on the end of Mensing's cross, but Corr staying sharp right to the end, and how vital that save could be when it comes to Stranraer's chances of staying in the division come the end of the season. Saints will be hoping that their season finishes on a high and at the other end of the table. Coyle, though, admitted after this match that if they're to be up there challenging for honours come May, they'll have to rediscover their killer instinct in front of goal.
The game was to win. You know, I think we had enough chances there again to win 2 or 3 games. It's disappointing. We started the first half really well in the ascendancy in Stranraer. We knew they'd pack the defence, and they did that. You know, credit to them. You know, they play a certain style and it suits them. But I think they scored with their only attack of the half, which is disappointing from our point of view. We should have defended that better. And then obviously with an uphill battle, because you know we knew they were going to get even, if possible, even more men behind the ball. They did that second half. We had all the ball again. We had to be strong in possession and look to create chances, which we did. And we, to be honest, we should have finished them better.
I would have taken a point. I think a point away from home is a good result anywhere. You know, we've done that so far at various places. We've done it at Dens and at Love Street. So you know we can play when we come away from home, and the big spaces help us. You know, I think teams for some reason seem to think we're a long ball team. We showed today that we can pass it, and they enjoyed passing. They enjoy playing at these stadiums, and no, I think they're pleased with their day's work.
David.
Stranraer the draw specialists of the division, and while the Dundee fans will feel their side should be beating them all right, here's a sense of perspective. Neil Watt's men have drawn with Dundee already, also with St Mirren and twice with St Johnstone, so no easy nut to crack despite the close early efforts. 5 1-1 draws already this season, and 5 single goal defeats would suggest that Stranraer are no mugs. Alan Jenkins their driving force. You just wonder how long they'll be able to keep him at the club. Not much longer if he continues to play like this. Kelvin Jack happy to keep him out. second half, and Jack a spectator as David Hamilton came within inches of giving the home side the lead. Little more than a coat of paint away from finding the net. Stranraer also hit woodwork at Dens earlier in the season. Before the game you would have fancied Dundee for the points, but they're not the first team to come down from the Premier and find life tough in Division 1. For all their efforts they were incapable of getting a direct shot in and bury John Corr. How tough it is can be seen from the fact Stranraer have every man behind the ball here, and although the jink from Tam McManus is what's required to get past a tight defence, the body language of Corr suggests the shot was further away than it looked. For Dundee, this would be the epitome of the First Division. A small ground, a small crowd, a heavy pitch, and it made for heavy going for Alan Kernahan's men. No shortage of application. What was lacking most was a cutting edge. And that has been a recurring theme for Dundee in recent weeks, with just 4 goals scored in the last 5 games. Corr was doing his bit to ensure the stats didn't improve for the Dens Park men. Not their day. You kind of get that impression when nothing goes right for you in front of goal. The whistle clearly blown before the ball ended up in the net. This is the kind of game that would be decided by a single goal. So menace for Dundee in every attack by Stranraer, and on another day Alan Jenkins might have won a penalty. The claims were waved away by David Summers, and still Stranraer were looking to sneak a goal. Derek Wingate had come off the bench, and although his shot wouldn't trouble the keeper, it wasn't all going Dundee's way. How important a goal and a win would have been for either side, and when Steve Robb's celebrations were ended by an offside flag, it was to signal the fact that neither side would make the breakthrough. For Dundee, a similar story of dominating a game without looking too dangerous. A worry, no doubt, for Alan Kernahan. No worries for a Stranraer side that's been quietly picking up points and securing their position.
It's a draw, but it's a very good performance. I felt we finished the game on the offensive. David Hamilton's header unlucky to hit the post. So no, it's certainly. I mean, last week obviously questions were asked about. You know, we broke St Johnstone down and broke their hearts and such like. But I think today, as you can see, we've went for the game.
I thought we were on top quite a lot of the game, but didn't create enough chances, and that's been quite a story for us. For most of the season we've looked good back and middle, but just up front we need to do a little bit more, so that's where we're going to be concentrating on, obviously.
Douglas Park and Love Street to come, but the top match for us this week was the game at Broadwood between Clyde and Stranraer. Well, Clyde unbeaten in their last 4 matches and a Scottish Cup tie against Celtic to look forward to next month. Eddie Malone joining a 5-man midfield with Williams and Brighton the front pairing once again. Stranraer going with a similar formation. Paul Walker didn't make it, but a chance for them to pull further clear of the playoff position with Queen of the South idle. The referee was John Underhill. Match commentator David McKennie.
The draw specialists of the Bells First Division come to Broadwood looking for their first win. In 11 games, Stranraer have drawn half of their league matches so far this season. Clyde have to put Celtic to the back of their minds as they look for points that could put them into the top 4. Michael Moore brought down as the ball was in the air, and that's going to be a free kick for Stranraer. A very dangerous situation as far as Clyde are concerned. So Lee Sharp scored last week into the wall. Michael Moore is there for Stranraer. That was bravery from the goalkeeper, and only the save from Peter Cherry kept Stranraer out there. Well, there's no doubt Stranraer are making life difficult for Clyde at the moment. Eddie Malone had the ball taken away from him there. Clyde win it back. Masterton now, decent cross, decent effort. McGowan got there just in time. Stranraer got the ball cleared. Michael Moore battling hard, arms and legs and the elbows everywhere. McGowan, nice ball into the middle. That was a chance for Clyde, all right. And that, the best and the clearest of the game so far, as McGowan sent it in. Alec Williams, the ball ricocheted off him, couldn't really control it, so the speed he was coming in. Brighton had to take a difficult ball, took it well. Neatly done again by Brighton. There's a chance, and it should have been a goal again from Alec Williams. Good save from Barry John Corr. And a good cross. Williams got there. Barry John Corr made that one look easy, one-handed. Good save. Michael Moore again, the target at the edge of the penalty area. Lee Hines trying to get in there. Lee Hines did get in there, and that was an opportunity for Stranraer, okay. Neat play from Clyde. Eddie Malone. And the free kick given, swift challenge. I think he thought he was alright with that, got the ball first, referee disagreed. Now Eddie Malone with some space here, it comes in for Alec Williams, and that's about the third time Alec Williams has had an opportunity to score for Clyde this afternoon. Well, David Hamilton just didn't seem to have the legs for that. Clyde get the ball clear. Hamilton still inside the penalty area, might get turned, couldn't quite get the shot, but now the chance for Stranraer, and that was the best opportunity of the game so far. Lee Hines should have scored. Well, the ball came over, Lee Hines with a chance to get the ball across again, and a great header and a good save. Swift was in there for Stranraer, the goalkeeper did well, and Stranraer twice might have taken the lead here. Brighton for Williams, back for Tom Brighton. Looks as if it might open up for Clyde here. The shot was a good one from Tom Brighton. Plenty of targets, plenty of white jerseys. Bouadji was the man in space, nobody near him. He couldn't get a header in. Oh, the ball might come now for Brighton. A mistake by Stranraer defence. Brighton will feel he should have done better there. That look tells you he knows he should have done better. Masterton, McGowan and Bryson. Well, it was neat play enough until the end. Just too close to the defender, and perhaps a chance now for Clyde. Shot coming in, and surely now, this time, oh, the goalkeeper didn't know much about that one. Still managed to get the ball saved. Steve O'Donnell thought he had given Clyde the lead. And Barry John Corr managed to divert it wide. Clyde in a hurry to get the ball forward. Brighton. O'Donnell lifts it high, looks for Joe Miller, needs good control, needs to be strong here, Miller, and he was. Now he needs to get the ball into the middle, and he did. Nobody there for Clyde. It might come now for them. Masterton. Clyde was almost the last kick of the game. Have taken the lead here at Broadwood. You can see what it means to the players.